More reaction continues to come from the fight between a Fort Worth bishop and a group of nuns in Arlington. The Carmelite nuns posted a declaration from Archbishop Carlo Vigano. That declaration was in defense of the nuns and characterized the accusations launched by Fort Worth Bishop Michael Olson as false. This is a story that played out in court before its dismissal. Our Jason Allen, who has continued to follow the story from the very beginning, and tonight he sat down with our media partners at Texas Monthly to learn more about Bishop Olson's past.
It's just brought a lot of disunity and dissension here, and I just ask everybody to pray for everybody involved.
Well, who can forget the bitter battle between a Fort Worth Catholic bishop and a group of nuns in Arlington? And CBS News Texas was there as a very public lawsuit played out in court 6 months ago. A nun was accused of breaking a vow of chastity, and the bishop was then accused of defamation and also abuse of power. And the lawsuit was ultimately dismissed. But tonight, we are learning more about Fort Worth Bishop Michael Olson. Our media partners at Texas Monthly recently published an article. It's called "The Bishop Who Picked a Fight with the Wrong Nuns." Very accurate. Today we're speaking with the editor of that story, J.K. Nickel. J.K., thanks for joining us. You know, one of the questions that really came up often back when this dispute even started in the late spring was why would the bishop be fighting the battle in the manner that he was? And the Texas Monthly article points out that he's really no stranger to scandals over the years. Are you able to tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. So thanks so much for having us. And yeah, when the salacious headlines that emerged out of Arlington earlier this year, we had a number of questions about what transpired. And when our reporter Nate Blakesley started digging in, he quickly realized that this struggle was just a small part of a much bigger story. Since the earliest days of the bishop's tenure, he's often been involved in conflicts and controversy of one type or another. One notable incident involved a popular Fort Worth area priest named Jeff Perot, who was the subject of a flattering profile in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. And this allegedly angered Olson, who exiled him to a parish out in Wichita Falls. Now, Olson denied pressuring Perot to resign from the priesthood, but this run-in seems to fit a pattern with the bishop, who has taken issue with several priests once they achieved a certain degree of popularity. And in turn, the bishop has taken those conflicts public. Something similar happened with a priest named Isaac Orozco, and parishioners told the Star-Telegram that Olson forced him to resign. And we could go on to cite a number of other examples.
Yeah, you're right, and there were issues I know at Nolan Catholic High School. A lot of these parishes that are around the whole diocese, and in a lot of cases, a lot of parishioners fighting back in a lot of these issues too. But it didn't seem to, I guess, stop more from popping up. Now, I know Texas Monthly's reporting also goes back even further, and it offers some insight into some of Bishop Olson's personal relationships. Can you tell us a little bit about what Texas Monthly found when it came to some of the relationships, say, with some of the women in his life?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. Much of what we know about the bishop's personal history comes from a 94-year-old woman who knew Olson long before he became a bishop, who was something of a second mother to him. In a sworn statement collected by an attorney, she gave really intimate details about his fraught relationship with his mother, his actual mother, which she believed was at the root of much of the bishop's insecurity. She recalled an incident shortly after Olson was named bishop in which he allegedly told her he was planning to close a Catholic renewal center that was staffed by nuns. And this woman was really troubled by how dismissive he was toward the women. She recalled that he referred to them as, quote, aging lesbians. She said that he didn't really trust women, and that he would often make jokes about women that left her and her daughters-in-law uncomfortable.
Yeah, and this was someone, right, J.K., who was close to him. I mean, I don't know if you would say it's as close as his own mother, but somebody who he had known for many, many decades, but well before he was a bishop.
Absolutely. Yeah, she first met Olson. She's a resident of Wichita Falls, and one of his first stations was out in Wichita Falls, and they got to know each other well. He was at her dinner table almost every night. He resided over ceremonies, baptisms, weddings, funerals with her family. They were incredibly close until 2020, when she decided to speak out about who she felt the man that he had become. She was so bothered by it. She said she couldn't take it anymore, and she saw what was happening to a number of priests across the diocese that he oversaw, and she felt that she had had enough and decided to speak up.
Yeah, that's a very interesting portion of the story, when she decides to go ahead and say something, and then also very enlightening kind of to see what she relayed as the bishop's reaction back to her. And I'll leave it to readers to go and get into the story and look at Texas Monthly to see what that reaction is. But it's very interesting to read about. And bringing it back to the nuns now in this dispute, when it comes to this dispute with the nuns in Arlington, I know that one of the answers that we are really still waiting for in all of this is, will the Vatican potentially step in? But are we able to take any insight away from these previous disagreements that the bishop has been involved in to get an idea if the Vatican might step in here?
Yeah, it's really tough to say because the Vatican's decision-making processes are famously opaque. It is worth noting, though, that beyond the Arlington monastery conflict, some parishioners in the diocese have appealed to the Vatican to remove Olson as bishop. It's rare for bishops to be removed, but it's certainly not unprecedented. Just last month, Pope Francis removed the bishop of the Tyler Diocese out in East Texas, which made news. And that bishop had made a number of controversial statements, albeit many of them were aimed at Francis himself, so a slightly different situation. But again, it's not unprecedented, so we'll see how this plays out. Yeah, there are moves. It does happen. It always maybe doesn't happen maybe in what some people would think of as a timely manner for when they want to see changes made. Absolutely. But, you know, the Vatican has its reasons for keeping people in place, too. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there in the next few months or years. JK, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's still, obviously, a lot more that Texas Monthly lays out in this article, again, called "The Bishop Who Picked a Fight with the Wrong Nuns." You can read more about it on TexasMonthly.com.